Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I will detail the story of a San Francisco Norte named Fernando Madrigal. Fernando, also just known as Nando, was a San Francisco resident and a well-known gang member in San Francisco's Mission District, which is an area with a big Latino presence, which I covered before in a previous episode covering Mission District wars between Norte and Serrano gangs. Now, like I said before, Nando was a Norte, and he was fully active in the war and a participant in street activity. The Norte said that Nando claimed the territory of 24th Street between Mission Street, while their rivals at the time, the Army Street gang from the Army Street Projects, claimed the area south of 24th Street. Meanwhile, another rival group, the Serranos, claimed the nearby area. On July 12, 2018, Nando lured a victim to a parking lot near Candlestick Park in San Francisco on the pretense of purchasing weed from the victim. But Nando planned to rob the victim, and he and an accomplice were both armed. When they arrived at the parking lot near Candlestick Park, where they would meet the victim around 6:20 p.m., Nando shot and killed the victim. The victim's name was Luis. Nando disposed of Luis's phone near the San Mateo Bridge. Then he would dump Luis's body in the Oakland Hills, where it was found more than a year later. Nando had his hand on everything in the streets. He was selling drugs, committing robberies, even stealing cars, which he would catch a prior conviction for, and also for drugs. He even was a part of more murders. Just after midnight, July 8, 2019, 15-year-old Davon Hand was shot on 24th and Cap Street, where he was pronounced dead a short time later, taking his last breath just blocks away from his home. Responding police officers found the teen suffering from gunshot wounds as an unidentified vehicle sped away. Police officers took pursuit of the car through the streets of San Francisco until they lost the car on the highway.
New at 9 tonight, we're learning more about a 15-year-old shot and killed in the Mission District in San Francisco on Monday. Thanks for joining us at 9. I'm Ken Wayne, in for Grant Lotus.
And I'm Vicki Libiakis. The shooting near 24th and Cap Streets killed 15-year-old Davon Hahn. His friends say that the teen was a leader in his community at a youth gun violence prevention program called United Play Us.
Well, police are still looking for Hahn's killer, who led police on a chase but eventually got away. Now friends and family are still disturbed and distraught, saying that Hahn was the one who always put a smile on everyone else's faces. He never looked for trouble, and he was always helping others.
Sadly, his work was cut short, and we didn't get to see all of what Davon Hahn had to offer this beautiful world.
Weeks after the killing of Davon, Nando joined a rally on the steps of City Hall about stopping gang violence, along with the Board of Supervisors, Hillary Ronen, and Davon's mother, to call for an end to street violence. And Nando would even talk at the rally, who he said he renounced violence and the gang life. He even embraced Davon's mother at the event and hugged her, which she didn't know at the time he was her son's killer. Nando believed that Davon was a part of the rival Army Street gang, so he killed him in response. After this point, to the world, Nando looked like an ex-gang member who was reformed. Nando lent his time and his voice to multiple non-profit groups calling for reforms to the juvenile justice system. But behind closed doors, Nando was still participating in the streets, and his social media presence will be his downfall. Now, Nando had been posting guns on his Instagram account and giving hints to crimes, and the things he did will all lead to his arrest. The team investigating Davon Hand's case pieced together footage from video surveillance cameras, Nando's social media accounts, and forensic evidence, and also his cell phone location data to link Nando to the crime. Some of the images the FBI obtained showed Nando showing off guns, and messages they obtained, he made references to being a Norteño. Now, this situation would get Nando a RICO indictment, but not just him, other close members of his gang, and they will be active in the violence, just like him. Now, Nando's friends, Alvaro, also known as G-Boy, and Oscar, known as Cuddy, on the evening of January 23, 2018, G-Boy saw two people he went to school with in the past standing at a bus stop near St. Mary's Park. He believed them to be rivals, so he got out of his car and put on a ski mask. He walked up to his targets and drew his gun. He started firing at them. A man was shot in the torso, and he died later in the hospital. A female victim received a gunshot wound to the back of the head, exiting through her jaw, but she survived. G-Boy ran back to the car and was driven off by Cuddy. Police officers heard the gunfire and were on the scene within minutes. ShotSpotter sensors detected 9 shots being fired, and police recovered 9 shell casings from the scene. Prosecutors also say that Cuddy participated in 2 more gang-related shootings in 2019. In April 2019, occupants of a car got into a verbal argument with pedestrians walking on Army Street, resulting in a gunfire, which they would say nearly resulted in a bystander being shot in the head, and Cuddy was said to be a part of that. And in July of 2019, he was present when Nando murdered Davon and was himself armed with a gun.
Department arrested Fernando Madrigal, also known as Nando, for the murder of a 15-year-old victim in the furtherance of gang activity. Our FBI SWAT team participated in the arrest due to the violent nature of the alleged murder. It is our duty to ensure the public safety and the safety of all law enforcement officers during the course of an arrest. This murder was senseless and horrific. The victim, just 15 years old, was targeted because of the neighborhood he lived in. On July 8th, 2019, he was shot near his home in the Mission District. San Francisco Police Department quickly responded and called an ambulance, but the victim was shot in the back.
After his arrest, family and friends of Nando said in correspondence to the judge that he has potential to reform. Jason Bell of Project Rebound would say, "I strongly believe that Nando would evolve beyond his worst mistakes." Project Rebound is a San Francisco State University project aimed at helping formerly incarcerated people get back into society. But federal authorities set in motion that even in custody, Nando engaged in violent and manipulative behavior, which included a 2023 extortion scheme, which Nando impersonated his public defender. Later that year, he stabbed an inmate at Santa Rita County Jail. All 3 Norte members would admit the crimes they committed and took plea deals. G-Boy took 26 years, and Cuddy took 21 years. In the start of this case, Nando will receive 33 years. Hillary Ronen, member of San Francisco Board of Supervisors, would send an apology to Davon's mom after she had Davon killer Nando talking at a rally and promoting peace, and even meeting his mom. Davon's mom would go on to bash Hillary Ronen about the situation.
After advocating for the gang member who shot and killed the boy. Hillary Ronen wrote a letter back in 2019 to get the killer, Fernando Madrigal, off a separate carjacking charge, saying, quote, "I am requesting that you allow Fernando to be terminated early from his probation so he can focus on rehabilitation." Ronen wrote this letter 2 months after Fernando Madrigal had murdered Davon while going to buy food. Ronen later told the San Francisco Standard that she wrote a letter to help someone too quickly without doing my due diligence and will never make that mistake again. Sheree Johnson is the mother of Davon Hahn, and she joins me now. He has since pled guilty. And here's the part that I don't understand, Sheree. He, despite his gang affiliation, posed as an anti-crime advocate and was able to sort of ingratiate himself with San Francisco lawmakers and make connections. Can you explain this?
Well, from my understanding, he was the poster child or the poster boy for juvenile hall getting shut down. He has worked with San Francisco Mayor Office on several events, being a youth advocate, and public record shows that since 2015, he also had open cases, being an active gang member and breaking the law and doing crime. So I kind of don't understand how he was still employed.
The San Francisco Board of Supervisor, her name is Hillary Ronen. I understand that you know her personally, and she later wrote a letter on your son's killer's behalf, hoping to get him early probation on a separate carjacking charge. She says she didn't know about his gang affiliation at the time that she wrote the letter. What's your message when it comes to this? Are you angry?
Very. My son should be here. It wasn't hard to look into this individual. At the time, she didn't have access to the records for Davon, but he has prior things that he did that she could have very easily saw who he actually was.
Do you think instances like this are why San Francisco is so dangerous?
I do.
San Francisco police will go on to say Norteño criminal street gangs have terrorized San Francisco's Mission District for years through a relentless campaign of shootings, robberies, gun trafficking, drug dealing, and extortion. The sentences against these men send a clear message that gang members who inflict violence and harm our community will be arrested and prosecuted federally and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. Instead of actually changing his ways, Nando will be in prison and probably won't get out until he's in his 60s. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.